A flashback shows us Shino Inuzuka dying next to his friends Hamaji and Sosuke Inukawa. A mysterious man offers him the choice to live and he accepts. Now we can see Shino hanging out with the spirit demon Murasame, who brings him a black marimo, later termed as Megu. Shino throws Megu away and heads back home to Sosuke and Hamaji, who is not a very good chef. The brothers have a friend named Kenta, who is given a cross by Sosuke for his protection. The boys are told that they shouldn't enter the nearby forest alone, as it's evil. Later, Kenta runs into a ghost that looks like Shino and panics, after which he runs away. As Megu makes a hilarious return to Shino, we also meet Ryo Satomi, who is told about some survivors from the Otsuka incident by his accomplice Kaname Osaki. Later, the 5 foxes of Osaki arrive to take Sosuke and Shino. They mention that one of them has 2 souls and the other is a dog. This angers Shino, so he defeats them easily by summoning Murasame, who is actually a demon living in his arm. Now Kenta arrives and talks about the ghost who looks like Shino. Sosuke and Shino advise him not to go to the forest or visit them again, so Kenta throws his cross and runs away. Sosuke finds the cross and transforms to his spirit dog Yojiro to search for him. Later, Shino finds Kenta trapped in a spiderweb, and they see the ghost, which is actually just an illusion created by a massive spider monster as part of its trap. Luckily, Sosuke arrives and saves them. Then Shino calls upon Murasame in his sword form to attack the monster and kill it with ease. However, they come back and learn that Hamaji has been taken away by the Osaki family, so they decide to rescue her. However, Hamaji is actually having a great time, ordering Kaname and his foxes. As Shino and Sosuke enter the Imperial capital, they meet Ryo, who drops them off at a hotel and promises to bring back Hamaji. Now Shino takes a tour of the city and bumps into a man named Kobungo Inuta, who is looking for his brother Genpachi Inukai. They get to know each other and we learn that Genpachi is a prisoner of the Shoketsu clan headed by Seiran. The next day, Shino is greeted by Ryo and his sacred wolf Yatsufusa. We find out that Shino and Ryo know each other from the Otsuka incident, and they are about to get into a confrontation. But Sosuke interrupts them so that they can focus on Hamaji. Kobungo also thinks back to his memories with Genpachi and his sister Nui. Hamaji is finally reunited with her family, and then everyone goes out to explore the city. Sosuke is shown to be very affectionate towards dogs, but then one of Seiran's insects spies on them and reports back to its master. Now Seiran tortures Genpachi, hoping to awaken his demon form. We learn that Genpachi was in love with Nui, as he thinks back to happier times. Meanwhile, Kaname flirts with Hamaji, while Shino tries to discipline Megu. That's when Sosuke insists on learning about Ryo, and Shino reveals that he was the only one who saved them at the Otsuka village by offering Murasame to him. However, this meant that Shino would always be 13 years old. The next day, Kobungo falls on Shino again after he is thrown out of Seiran's shrine. He treats Shino and Sosuke to a meal and tells them about how Genpachi was unfairly kidnapped because he houses a demon inside him. Later, Ryo gives Shino and Sosuke their heirloom beads and mentions that there are 6 others that come from Fusehime and the 8 demons. Now, I'm sure you guys would love to watch the show and see how the 8 dogs defeat the 8 demons. But what if your home country restricts access to popular anime streaming sites? Wouldn't that be worse than facing off against an evil goddess? Well, that's why we've summoned today's sponsor, NordVPN, to come to your rescue. If you don't know what a VPN is, it's basically a legal way for you to access restricted content from other countries by using servers from those countries. This means you can access the entire Netflix catalog and also any anime streaming site of your choice. The best part is that you can maintain your privacy while you're at it, because NordVPN provides you with encryption that's just as powerful as Murasame. I always use NordVPN to stream my favorite anime, and that's how I'm able to give you guys all these amazing recaps. Some of NordVPN's most popular features include stuff like access to over 5,400 servers across 59 countries, and to top it off, it's officially the fastest VPN provider in the world. Yep, even faster than the Yatsufusa at full speed. Don't worry, I know you must be thinking that the best VPN in the world might be a little expensive, but it's pretty affordable. Also, I've decided to help you guys out, so if you want to watch your favorite anime shows using the proper legal means, then go to nordvpn.com/outline to get a 2-year plan plus 1 additional month with a huge discount. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. With a deal like that, I don't think even Ryo would want to turn it down. You can find my link in the description below, so go ahead and check it out to get access to the best best VPN in the world at a super cheap price. Okay, now back to the story. Ryo talks about the Princess Tamazusa, who used her beauty to manipulate others and caused a war. Shino gets bored with this, so Ryo says he wants them to find the other 6 beads. Sosuke agrees readily, and then Ryo asks Shino if there's anything odd he's noticed about Sosuke. Meanwhile, Seran awakens the demon in Genpachi, and he escapes. The demon senses Shino and confronts him so that he can eat his soul. Shino kicks off a chase scene, and Kobungo follows them. Shino senses Genpachi's humanity and helps him come back to his sense by showing some memories of Nui. However, Seran arrives with his insects and an angry mob. They fire at our heroes, and Sosuke saves Shino from an arrow, but is injured in the process. The team eventually falls into the river. Megu awakens to help him out, and then they see Genpachi in his human form. They take him to Kobungo and he recovers quickly. Genpachi finally introduces himself properly and bonds with Shino. Later, Kobungo tells our heroes about a war 3 years ago where he and Genpachi were killed but somehow revived with demons inside them. Unfortunately, Nui had died by the time they returned, and Genpachi went mad. He tried killing himself several times, but recovered immediately. Now Seran kills his master and commands his clan to attack the demon brothers. In the middle of this, Seran's insect attacks Hamaji and it angers Kaname. Genpachi is fascinated by Megu, but then the clan attacks our heroes. A battle breaks out, and then Seran reveals to Genpachi that Nui was pregnant with another man's child and killed herself when she heard he was coming back. This triggers him and he transforms, after which he kills the clan with one blow. Seran tries to escape, but Kaname stops him and kills him with his spirit fox. Then, Murasame summons rain to douse the fire. The next day, Shino explores Ryo's house and finds a snake. Ryo appears and tells him not to wander around without permission. Then Kaname explains to Shino that Ryo is the head priest of the Imperial Church. Sosuke falls ill as a new moon arrives, and it worries Shino as he thinks back to what Ryo told him. Later, he bumps into a girl named Ayane Mizuki, who runs away when she sees Murasame. Shino learns from Kaname that she's a member of the Snake Clan and is protected by the goddess Chikage. Hamaji sends Shino to make Ayane his friend, so he wanders inside the barrier and is attacked by Chikage. She is about to hurt him, but luckily Sosuke comes and apologizes. Chikage wants his arm as an offering, but then Ayane interferes and rebukes her for being so cruel. Ayane meets our heroes later, and Shino introduces her to Hamaji. The girls have a good time, and then Hamaji asks Ayane to come with her for a festival, but Chika doesn't allow her to leave the house. Luckily, Shino helps Ayane convince Chikage to allow her to go with the foxes and Kaname as her guards. The girls go to the festival, and Ayane thoroughly enjoys herself, so Chikage thanks Shino for giving her a friend. The next day, Shino asks about Ryo about a case he read about the Perquisite Mountain. Ryo states that some villagers were led to their deaths when they explored the mountain, hoping to collect water for their village. Now, we meet Keno Inusaka, who has come to the village with a group of female musicians, led by Kokonoe. We learn that a monkey god guards the mountains, so Shino goes to check it out by himself. His beads start to glow, but then he falls down. Meanwhile, Kobungo and Genpachi join Sosuke as he goes looking for Shino. After he gets up, Shino realizes that he's lost Sosuke's bead, and the monkey god appears after that. Shino asks him if he's seen the bead, but he gives him some golf instead. Shino chats with the god as he seems to like children, and then the team arrives to take him back. However, they run into some villagers who imprison them. They meet a doctor named Saiki and her assistant Joji, who knows the demon brothers from the war. The doctors collect some blood samples for testing, and then Kano notices them. He seems to recognize Sosuke as the man who killed his family and took his heart. He meets Shino briefly the next day, while Joji gets worried when he sees the gold in Shino's pocket. After that, Kino meets Sosuke and attacks him with his sword. Shino walks in on them and finds Sosuke injured. Kino says that Sosuke had killed his family, but our heroes ridicule his claims. Shino fights him after that, but Kino is a much better swordsman and he overpowers him. However, he is shocked to see that Sosuke's spirit form is a dog. That's when Kokonoe rebukes him and offers to help Shino to make up for the attack. He asks her to find Sosuke's bead, and she agrees. Later, Joji tells Saiki and the others about the villagers going to the Perquisite Mountain to collect more gold. Now Kino apologizes to the boys, and then Kokonoe meets the monkey god, who is lonely as his only friend hasn't visited him in years. The group joins the villagers as they enter the mountain, but Murasame breaks the barrier and the god awakens in a fit of rage. We learn that Saiki was God's friend, and she goes back to the mountain as Shino tries to counter his powers. Her presence calms the god, and then Kokonoe also arrives with Sosuke's speed. In a flashback, Dosetsu Inuyama lies dying in the snow, and then a voice asks him if he wants to live. He says that he wants to take care for his sister, and she grants him his life. Now our heroes run into Dosetsu on the train back home. Shino starts to bond with him, but then a drunkard bothers them. Luckily, Megu takes care of him, but Dosetsu gets scared of the monster. It is hinted that Hamaji is Dosetsu's sister, as she starts to feel restless around Kaname. Meanwhile, a priest enters the train and confronts the boys, but then Dosetsu's familiar Yukihime appears and takes him down with her ice powers. She is happy to see Shino, as they are very good friends, so Dosetsu asks him to take her away from him as she creeps out his loveress. However, Shino says she's the reason he's alive and is about to reveal more, but Yukihime stops him from doing so. After they get off the train, Shino tells Sosuke that Yukihime sacrificed her beautiful voice to save Dosetsu. The group goes back to the diner and finds Keno and Kokonoe there as well. Hamaji enrolls into a strict all-girls boarding school and reveals that she wants to become a doctor to help Shino with his aging. She asks Sosuke to send Shino to her school with some books, even though men aren't allowed inside the campus. Later, Hamaji gets settled into her dorm and meets her roommate Suzu Kumagi. However, the foxes and Kaname get bored without her presence. At night, Shino delivers the books to her, but then he's attacked by a ghost and is paralyzed. He's taken to the others and reveals he saw a doll ghost. Everyone laughs at his fears, especially after he shows them a drawing of a cute dog. The next day, Hamaji meets the school prefect Ruri, who warns her against breaking the rules and mentions the guardian spirit that will punish anyone who does so. Kino and Sosuke decide to visit the campus out of concern for Hamaji and meet the doll. She attacks them for breaking the rules, but then Sosuke clears the misunderstanding as he voices his concern for Hamaji. The next day, Suzu tells Hamaji that she has great friends, but she doesn't remember telling her about them. That's when Riri tells Hamaji that she doesn't have a roommate. It turns out that Suzu was the guardian all along, as we see the doll on Hamaji's bed. At the church, Shino meets a woman of the night named Kohaku, who has golden eyes. She strikes a friendship with him, after which Shino gives her a cross and blesses her. Meanwhile, Kino chases after a man he suspects to be the killer, but is interrupted by Genpachi. Later, Shino chases Murasame, who has stolen his meat, and bumps into Kino, who is practicing his swordsmanship. He senses the presence of another soul in him, and that's when we learn that Kino was saved by Kokonoe when she put her heart inside him. The next day, Kohaku has a dream about her family, but she starts coughing blood. Then she is met by the real killer, who is shown to be Sosuke's shadow. He offers to take her life if she gives him both her eyes, and she agrees. Later, Sosuke and Shino go to a church to fix a roof, but Shino runs away after seeing a cockroach. He's picked up by Genpachi and is confronted by the shadow, who recognizes him instantly. Now Shino talks to Ryo about this, and he reveals that the shadow is the other half of Sosuke's soul. Shino tells Sosuke about him, and then Kino goes to look for the shadow. Then we see the villain with a princess who is assumed to be Tamazusa. Kobungo is shocked to learn that Kino is actually a man, and our heroes learn about their matching symbols. Later, Kohaku meets her boss's son, Shuichi, and she asks him for a favor. Meanwhile, Ryo tells Shino that he needs to get back to finding the beads, after which Shuichi gives him Kohaku's gift and also takes him to her place of work. However, Kohaku rebukes Shuichi for bringing a child here, and then she has an emotional moment with Shino. But then Shuichi points a gun at Shino and says that he wants Kohaku to forget the boy and marry him. She fights him, but he accidentally shoots Shino in the process. He loses a lot of blood, so Murasame awakens as a monster and devours Shuichi. Genpachi comes to the scene and takes Shino to Ryo, who nurses him back to health. Shino wakes up but acts casually when he talks about killing Shuichi, so Sosuke slaps him. Then Ryo shows Shino how Murasame is growing out of control, as he doesn't have enough blood to feast on. Later, Sosuke meets Kohaku and consoles her. but some nuns tell him that she is a deviant being. Now Murasame takes complete control of Shino and turns him into his adult body. That's when Ryo offers him his blood to calm him down. In the night, Kohaku meets her friend Chitose, but she loses control and devours her body to satisfy her sudden craving for blood. The next day, Kaname finds Ryo in his condition and panics, but he recovers quickly. The demon brothers also meet him to talk about Kohaku and the Chitose murder. Kobungo is shocked to see Shino as an adult man and takes away Genpachi before he notices him. Now Kohaku goes to Sosuke and vents out her guilt, but she cannot enter the church because she is a monster now. Shino awakens and wants to meet Sosuke, so Ryo sends him to the church. As Sosuke tries to offer comfort to Kohaku, even Ryo meets her and asks why she wants to die. She talks about her tragic past and says that she doesn't deserve to live here as demon wings come out of her body. That's when Shino appears and tries to appeal to her inner humanity. He manages to give her some happy memories before killing her, and he feels guilt about it, but Sosuke cheers him up. As Shino calls back to his fear of being alone, he becomes a boy again. Now the church members meet Ryo and question him about Shino. He tries to resist them, but they want to meet the boy as they know he survived a gunshot. Shino goes out to explore the town, but is grabbed by the shadow. He takes him through some memories they had when Sosuke was still a complete man, and also confesses to taking Kino's heart and Kohaku's eye. He leaves after that, but also snatches something sneakily from Shino's pocket. The elders start to cause trouble while looking for Shino, so our heroes figure they're going to come for Hamaji next. The boys reach their location and meet Yatsufusa, who reveals that everyone is currently inside the headquarters but is guarded by a barrier. Murasame hilariously breaks the barrier, so they make their way inside. However, Shino comes across the angel guardian Lilith, who attacks him for trespassing. It leads to a brief sword fight, which Lilith traps Shino, but he manages to break free and escapes from there. He bumps into Ryo, who hides him from Lilith by using Yatsufusa as a distraction. Shino is safe for now, but Riko cuts his allowance for causing so much trouble. Then Shino and Hamaji are happily reunited. Later, Kino and the rest of the team discover that they also have beads. Shino is pleased to see this, but is shocked to learn that the shadow has stolen his bead. And that's the end of Season 1. Like, share, and subscribe to show some love, and hit the bell icon to know when I'm uploading Season 2. See you soon!